So I just made the switch from a male doctor to a woman doctor. And while we're in our appointment just now, I was like, hey, I need to get like a renewal in my birth control. Can you put that in for me? She's like, yeah, no problem. Like, what birth control you on? And I was like, Depo Provera. And she like looks at me and she's like, you're on Depo? And I was like, yeah, I've been on it for the last 10 years. You know, I don't get a period. That's why I like it. And her jaw dropped to the floor. She's like, did you say 10 years? And I was like, yeah, like a decade. Yes. And she's like, holy shit. Like, no, Morgan, this is like a 2-year max birth control. Like, this is not a long-term birth control. And I was like, what? She's like, your last doctor never shared that with you? Like, this is not a long-term thing? And I was like, no, he would just like put in for it. I get the call saying like, hey, you're up for renewal. And I go in and get it. Like, no, he never told me that. And she's like, yeah, we're getting you off that immediately. Like, no birth control for a bit. Like, let's just get the hormones out of your body. So of course I go on Google and start Googling like what the long-term effects of being on Depo are. And I'm fucking just stressing out. And I'm like, that's why I shouldn't leave my fucking reproductive health in the hands of a negligent man.
That was really interesting, but it might surprise you to know that we actually can prescribe Depo Provera for longer than 2 years. Let me explain. Depo Provera is a long-acting reversible contraceptive injection, and it's injected every 12 to 13 weeks and is more than 99% effective as a form of contraception because it stops your body from releasing an egg each month. And even if an egg is released, fertilization of that egg is very, very unlikely. Now, these injections are sometimes stopped after 2 years, but you can keep taking them for a longer period of time. It all depends on your individual circumstances and risks. This is because if you have these injections for a long period of time, your bones might become weaker or more fragile, but that is not guaranteed to happen. And you can help to prevent this by exercising regularly and by making sure that you're getting enough calcium in your diet to help strengthen your bones. Milk, cheese, and leafy greens contain lots of calcium. If you do stay on Depo Provera for more than 2 years, a doctor may suggest a bone scan to check the strength of your bones. Now, in terms of your fertility, it should return after you stop having the injections. But how long this takes can vary from person to person, and it can range from a few months to over a year. Finally, remember that there are different methods of contraception available, and the one that's best for you depends on your lifestyle, on your general health, and your personal preferences. I will caveat this video by saying that in the US, the FDA have stated that the Depo Provera contraceptive injection should not be used as a long-term birth control method, i.e. longer than 2 years, unless other birth control methods are considered inadequate.